To get started. Okay. What are we going to do? Why don't we do the flag of allegiance? Let me see. Okay, that's it. I got it. Good afternoon. The December 9th, am I on? Yes. The December 9th, 2021 regular board meeting of the City Colleges of Chicago is now called to order. Today, we meet to undertake certain actions necessary for the continued operation of the district. Will the chief advisor please call the roll?
Here.
Trustee Swanson is here. She's on. I'm here. Here. She was here.
She was here.
She'll come in.
Okay. And Trustee Tillman. Hello.
So let the record show that in accordance with the Illinois Public Community College Act and the Illinois Open Meetings Act, we have a quorum. So thank you, President Lopez, there for hosting our meeting. And I want to thank everyone for joining us today. But before we fully underway, I will note for the record that Vice Chair Swanson is participating by phone today and that this is allowable under our board bylaws, Article 1.53, Sections A through C, provided there's a quorum in the room. And as the chief advisor has just noted, we do have a quorum today. So we have a quorum. Let us please join in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So again, good afternoon, everyone, and I hope everyone has made the best of our recent holiday, and we're looking forward to the upcoming holidays and the new year with hope and some motivation, I think, and positive outlook for the future. I would like to take a few minutes to express my concern to everyone in this great institution and others associated with it for everything we have all experienced and continue to experience during this coronavirus pandemic. Although it's not over, let us all hope we have gone through the worst, but we're still dealing with the ramifications of this pandemic. We continue to face challenges in our city and our nation with concerns of education, employment, safety, and the overall health of our family, friends, and neighbors. And although 2021 has been difficult in many ways, many people have come through it. I think city colleges have come through it 7 strong and still standing strong. And early in January of next year, our board will be meeting for a retreat. And we do this every year. And it's for the purpose of board self-evaluations. It's part of our efforts to continually improve our own operations and our oversight of these institutions. This will be the 4th time we have undertook such a retreat, and I think we're all looking forward to it. It really gives us time to assess everything we have done, how we are performing as a unit, and how well we are carrying out our responsibilities. Congratulations to all of our faculty, staff, and students as you all near the end of another semester, and all the best to the students who are taking their finals. Good luck on all of that. And the board wishes everyone a safe and healthy holiday season. And with that said, I'll turn to our student trustee, Mr. Fauzo Holt. Will you give your report, please?
Thank you, Chair Massey. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I would like to begin by expressing my heartfelt gratitude on behalf of the students to our teachers and professors for their work within the city colleges. We would not have been able to become who we are today without your day and night support. You confront our struggle on a daily basis and have never given on us, even in this virtual environment. A simple thank you is not enough, but know that you have given us the tools, and now we understand the world because of you. With that being said, I would begin my December report. Harold Washington College. The Harold Washington College now has a complete executive board. We are pleased to welcome Carolina Herrera as our new secretary. In collaboration with Kennedy King's Vice President, Sofia Aranda, we are hosting a donation drive for serving people with Mission SPM. Many items have been placed in our donation box already, and we will be selecting a nearby organization of choice to donate these items to help our local community. The first Wellness Wednesdays event, a collaboration between the Harold Washington College Wellness Center and SGA, began on November 10th. We are thankful for Jania Vincent for hosting and providing an educational and interactive experience for students concerned about self-care and mental well-being. The next two events in the series will be in December. November was Native American Heritage Month, and we collaborated with past SGA President Maureen Ostowa to host events centered around the theme. This included a spoken word event, This Land is My Land, with a focus on student creativity and presentation on November 18th. We also hosted a Friendsgiving dinner, providing a social event for students and staff to take part in the holidays together on November 23rd. The Harold Washington SGA has been invited to committees initiated by the college. The eSport Committee, led by Vice President Xin-Kui Wang, is to introduce an eSport program to the college at the benefit of students and educators of the school. The Title V, Developing Hispanic Serving Institution Committee, is to develop a program for our Hispanic Latino student body and securing resources for their success. The ADA Committee, led by the Access Center Director Nicolette Redford, is to develop and improve the accessibility of education and enrichment opportunities in the school for those with disabilities. President Carolina will take part in all these committees, while Vice President Nancy will participate in the Title V and ADA Committee. Malcolm X College. The semester is ending, and SGA, in conjunction with the Office of Student Activities, continues to work together in order to end the semester on a high note. The executive team and the Office of Student Activities are currently wrapping up a winter clothing drive in partnership with SPM. The collected items will be donated to homeless shelters near the Malcolm X campus. We have also made and finalized plans for the final week of the semester. We'll be handing out goodie bags to Malcolm X students to close out the fall semester. We have started to plan activities for the spring semester, and we have secured a partnership with the Young Invincible for a COVID-19 vaccine outreach event. Olive Harvey College, mission statement: developing the diverse environment of cultural and civic leaders and have excellence in academia, learning, support services, as well as student involvement. Christmas decoration contest with different departments. Wednesday, December 8th at 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Distress Week, December 6th through December 9th. Christmas ornament decoration, Monday, December 13th, time TVA. We have recently closed out our month of November with the celebration of Native American Heritage Month, which included some Kahoot and virtual visit to museums. The Veterans Center hosted a celebration for those who served our country. Harriet Truman College, we hosted our traditional Thanksgiving basket raffle. 12 departments and clubs donated a basket full of items to celebrate Thanksgiving for our students. Over 50 students participated, and it was great. The transfer and career centers own the most creative basket, and our adult education received the basket with the most bids. Our Veterans Office, co-sponsored by SGA, hosted our annual Veterans Luncheon on November 11th. Along with our Code Drive service project, our PTK is hosting a sock drive in partnership with Truman SGA. We are hoping to reach 1,000 pairs of socks to be donated to local shelters. Yes, there is still time for each of you to help by donating a pair of socks. Please reach out to our SGA President Dana, if you are interested in donating. We are sponsoring a holiday celebration, a door decoration contest on campus on December 15th. Students and staff will be volunteered to judge the decoration. Rumor has it, Dr. Jackson plans on taking the win this year. Let's see who can challenge our one Truman spirit the best way this holiday season. We are also preparing some events to celebrate Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. In SGA, we are already getting ready for the winter training on December 10th. May this month of celebration moves us to think of others rather than ourselves and bring hope for the future. Thank you. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Chair Massey. Good afternoon to everyone. As has been stated, we are nearing the end of the fall semester, and I want to wish all of our students the best with the remaining finals and also care and wellness in the coming days. I know that holidays, have also during the pandemic been hard for various different reasons, and to make sure we do have a happy and healthy holiday season, we want to continue to urge everyone to get vaccinated, to get your children age 5 and over vaccinated, and to get boosted, and to get boosted soon. Many of us were vaccinated back in when higher education opened up back in April of last year, right around that time. So if you got your vaccine around that time, you should already be boosted, right? 6 months have already passed. And the good news is that our colleges are hosting family vaccination events the next 2 weekends. And again in January, we've already had several of these family vaccination events at Wright College, at Daly College. We have one coming up at Kennedy King this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can go there for your free vaccine or booster. This Sunday, you can go to Harvey College. Truman College will host an event on December 18th, and Malcolm X on December 19th. And so take advantage of these opportunities. There are many, many more out there. We know, as Chair Massey has stated earlier, that this has been a challenging period. The pandemic continues to persist. And that's why today we will ask the board to approve wellness days to allow employees to attend to personal health and well-being. Full-time employees will receive 3 additional personal days to be used by June 30th. And part-time employees receive a lump sum payment for 1 day's work. We recognize that by taking care of yourself and those closest to you, you will be in a better position to care for our students and all of those loved ones that are around you. So, student trustee, this follows in your message, right, in your concluding remarks, and we are completely aligned. We also want you to know that we recently received a grant to support our Be Well Chicago initiative, which is focused on responding to trauma faced by City College's students. These funds will help remove the barrier of cost as our wellness centers refer students to telepsychiatry care. We hope to provide a source of inspiration for our students as well. This spring, after 2 years away and following city public health guidance, we are planning to return to an in-person commencement ceremony in May at the Wintrust Arena, which the board will consider today. We'll get out the rules for participation, but as long as folks are following those rules, they will be able to participate. During this season of community, I do want you to know that I've been out, our presidents have been out, we've all been out. We're going to continue to be out, talking to parents and community members at Chicago high schools and non-profit partners. I want you to know we learned so much from these visits, and I'm consistently pleased to hear, how much appreciation there is out there for the work that we're doing and what we have to offer as an institution. I want to thank Vice Chancellor Jennifer Mason and her team for organizing a Faith Leaders Breakfast last month, which we did with the CEO of Chicago Public Schools together. This is going to be a tradition every year. The CEO of Chicago Public Schools and Chancellor will get together with faith leaders to make sure we're sharing a common message around education and faith, and to make sure that we do all we can to support those people in the institutions that the faith leaders are supporting on a day-to-day basis. I also attended the Malcolm X College Passport Awards last week, honoring some of the college's partners, and it was a wonderful event. The partners that really help us to make Malcolm X programs a success were there. Several of them were honored. The staff really came together. I want to recognize, President David Sanders and the leadership at Malcolm X for, making this a reality. It was a really wonderful event, and encourage all of us to always say thank you to the partners that we have. And one partner, that we want to say thank you to today is the partnership and relationship that we're building with Gift of Hope. The partnership, as you will hear in a few minutes, will allow us to offer several healthcare programs at Gift of Hope's forthcoming new facility in the Chatham neighborhood. I want to specifically thank Gift of Hope President and CEO Dr. Harry Wilkins for coming here in person today to be a part of this presentation. I saw Jack Lynch come in, who's been instrumental in this effort, and I want to thank you, the entire team that has been involved with this overall effort. This arrangement, by the way, reflects my vision for our centers of excellence. I've said from the beginning that we will offer programs where quality can be maintained and demand exists. We believe in quality, relevance, and access. We believe in that order. My belief in centers of excellence is one of a both and perspective. We ought to be investing in access when we can, demonstrate both quality and demand. Our centers of excellence truly set a standard for quality program offerings. They provide a single point of contact for employers or partners like Gift of Hope to engage. They pilot innovative new ideas. They team up with the district to engage industry and work-based learning opportunities, and they coordinate plans for expansion at the colleges, with fellow colleges, with satellite centers, with off-site locations, and online. As this example shows, and we've got plenty of other examples, our Center of Excellence can be a beacon of hope and opportunity for our community. And so I encourage all of our colleges to always build upon their strengths. I want to point out here, Washington College has done that by becoming one of 10 community colleges across the country to be named a citizen leadership center. As a citizen leadership center, the college aims to build a pipeline of principal leaders with the skills to work together towards goals and to participate actively in public life. I also want to recognize Kennedy King's College student Marquita Sims, who recently drafted the winning essay for the National Society of Leadership and Success, this 2021 Leadership Summit Series essay contest. Contestants were asked to describe what it means to be an effective leader, and Marquita's response included the importance of welcoming ideas without judgment, a great reminder to us all. Speaking of student leadership, I saw our student leadership up and close this past month. I have a very rewarding visit with DSGA along with the provost, which I thank you all for all the efforts and the sort of wonderful conversation that we've had. I also wrapped up my last check-in with the chancellor for this semester. This is the opportunity we put out to any student at this district to check in so that we can hear from them and better understand their needs and share their thoughts directly with me. I had the opportunity to see our students lead through artistic expression at 2 events, Olive Harvey College's Brownstone Barrio Barb's poetry reading, which I haven't missed in my time as chancellor, and the I Am the Voice photography event at Daly College, which was a wonderful event. Our faculty and staff continue to model great leadership for our students, spearheaded, by the way, I want to point out the provost's efforts and his team in leading a growing partnership with the University of Chicago. We've talked about this back in the summer where we approved an MOU with the University of Chicago, but that's really coming together in an incredible way. It's going to really help our STEM education and career opportunities and create more opportunities in that area, specific in the area of data science, which is one of the first initiatives we'll be doing with the University of Chicago, giving us just greater capacity to prepare our students and strengthen our capabilities to be responsive to the demands in the economy. I want to close by reflecting on faculty and staff leadership. This is an incredible day. Rhonda Brown, President of Foundation, and I had the honor of representing City Colleges at the memorial service for Dr. Timeo Black this past Sunday at Rockefeller Chapel on the University of Chicago grounds. And I was very pleased to share that the Timeo Black Scholars Program for adult learners that we announced last month has now been seated with the commitment of this body, this board, of $250,000, and that the foundation will continue to raise funds to support and expand this new scholarship. As Dr. Black knew, and we all know, we can all act as leaders and ambassadors in our communities for city colleges, and in doing so, it's for our entire city. So there's no better time to spread the news about city colleges wherever you are. We've got actually a winter session. We've got spring registration going on right now. So I didn't want to leave without reminding folks that we are here to serve our students and ready to do so at every moment. Chair Massey, that concludes my remarks.
Thank you very much, Chancellor. So it's now time for public participation, and we have 7 requests for public participation today. When your name is called, please proceed to the podium here, where you will have up to 3 minutes to make remarks on the subject that you indicated in your communication that you wish to speak about. The board chief advisor will notify you when you've used your 3 minutes of time and bring your remarks to a close. As you registered, each of you were reminded of our procedures with regard to the nature of your comments, and I would like to ask you to respect and adhere to that direction. Chief Advisor, will you please start the process?
John Taylor.
Is it better with this on or off? Can you hear me okay? Thank you. I work for one of the best institutions in the Chicago area, the Chicago City Colleges. I have the deep honor to work with an administrator who supports his staff each and every day, David Sanders. I work in a program that puts students first, the federally funded TRIO program of student support services, led by my director, Frank Casillas, who works tirelessly to make sure that the students get all that we can give them. For all of this, I am deeply grateful. My name is John Taylor, pronouns he and him. I first started working for the City Colleges back in 1980 as a GED ESL teacher affiliated with Truman College. Over the years, I intermittently continued GED and ESL teaching through Kennedy King College. Now I am indeed fortunate to be able to continue my work with the City Colleges of Chicago at Malcolm X College. Currently, I'm the academic support specialist of the TRIO program. I am before you this afternoon because I am asking you, the directors of the City Colleges of Chicago, not to forget the sacrifice of the veterans in your employee midst. Last week in our contract negotiations, I learned that only one of 3 requested additional paid time off days was granted. That day is Juneteenth. Juneteenth is a day we should commemorate. It is a day too long in coming. One of the other paid time off days that we had requested was Veterans Day. Your negotiating committee discarded it out of hand. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a veteran, a Vietnam-era veteran, having served and drafted in the middle of the Tet Offensive, serving July 1968 until July 1970. Yes, over 50 years ago. Each Veterans Day at Malcolm X College, veterans are greeted by administration with, "Thank you for your service." But I say to you, unless that thank you is accompanied by something meaningful, a paid day off, then your words are empty to me and to my fellow veterans. Lastly, while teaching GED through Kennedy King, I also pastored 2 United Methodist churches, one near 50th and Damon, and the other at Kimball and Wrightwood, just now down the street from Mayor Lightfoot. As a minister, one of my favorite passages from the New Testament is James chapter 14, verse 24. You see that a person is justified by works and not by faith or words alone. Chicago Board of Chicago City Colleges, you may repeat the sentiment of thanks for our service. But as written in the Gospel of James, act as though you mean it, a paid day off. Thank you. God's blessings be upon you this week.
Donna Murray.
Hello, my name is Donna Murray. I am an alum of the City Colleges of Chicago. I graduated from Malcolm X in 2006. I have also graduated from DePaul University, attended and finished programs at Northwestern University, and did not take advantage of a scholarship to Harvard University. With all of that behind me, I decided to return to Olive Harvey College to pursue my greatest interest right now, and that is a certification in the cannabis dispensing program. I did this with the help of many friends. I did this with an intended decision. I lived in California during the COVID. I decided to relocate here because of the support that I have received from the city colleges, and that it had the distinction of hosting this program and it being accredited and able to receive federal funding. What I did not anticipate is how the education process would impact me. You see, I am also standing before you because so many of you and the people that helped me in the past taught me how to think outside of the box. With thinking outside of the box, I also sought non-traditional medical solutions that were not legalized, that were prohibited in many of the states and still are. As I am looking to attend this program and to expand my profession, I realized that over and over as I read about the war on drugs, about the prohibition, the intent of this prohibition, the impact of me learning the history and the reduced access to this medical plant that is a miracle from God, I then realized I was being traumatized over and over again. What was so amazing for me is I reached out to the dean who had actually taught me about the scholarship. I reached out to the president. I reached out to my professors. I also reached out to the chancellor because I knew that unlike many other people, I knew how to use my voice. And I needed to make this known to you all. I am so grateful that Dean Hollingsworth, I attend Olive Harvey proudly, listened to me, but we need to unify the city colleges of Chicago. It is now an exemplary program that other community colleges are looking at. It is in the Illinois legislation. I have proposed that we do a podcast, that we inform, we give the intentions, and we get rid of the stigma associated with this. This is a matter of life and death. It is not your opinions. It is not the misinformation that the war on drugs gave. It is not the people that you saw in New Jack City and all of these movies. This is a medical opportunity for many of us that is very cost effective, that has very few side effects, and that is available to everyone on this planet. I come to you saying, we cannot, like the gentleman before me, go and do any work without funding. See, I was not a person who was need-based, so I had to lose everything to be educated. I had to lose everything to be well. Those days cannot continue. As we look at the pandemic, we notice what is happening. We know that we cannot continue as status quo. I'm asking you all to fund student-led initiatives in this, not just to rely on the MSOs and the tax-based money, but for the institution to also put some money into this. I'm asking you all to understand that many of us returning
Thank you,
are
Ms.
highly
Murray. Your time is
educated.
up.
We need highly educated options. Thank you.
Terrence Johnson. Terrence Johnson. Carlos Audit.
Morning, can everyone hear me, please? Yes, everyone can hear me? Okay, thank you. Okay, how about now? Can you hear me better? Good. Last time my microphone was cut off. My name is Carlos Audit. I am the Vice President of ASME 3506, representing here the teachers of Citywide College of Chicago on behalf of George Urbanus. I want to acknowledge my brother veteran. We were about there at the same time. And I want to acknowledge my friends with Tony Johnson, the other union leadership, and Alliance for Community Services. We are here as partners, and as the word implies, we are allied. The adult education faculty and ASME 3506 recognize the continuing challenge due to COVID and don't blame administration for that, but urge maximum safety for students and workers. That being said, 2 points need to be made. Even before the pandemic, policy changes from the administration have weakened the citywide colleges program, meeting student needs, and therefore contributing to the drastic drop in enrollment, cutting instruction hours in adult education. Disinvestment in Humboldt Park Vocational Center, the Olive Harvey South Chicago Learning Center, and in general, our communities. Let's not Forget Lakeview Learning Center. I'm still steaming about that. Eliminating adult educators, coordinators positions, eliminating adult educator coordinators positions who are supposed to support students and community partners and marginalizing them professionally. You have eliminated policies that expand the connections between citywide colleges and our communities. The continuous marginalization of the adult education program as the main connector our communities comes to mind. Currently, our programs are guided by the premise of providing a service or charity to or for community-based partners or even merely in a community, viewing citywide colleges programs, facilities as service islands, not community life centers. Leadership at citywide colleges emphasizes power and influence to direct followers. Community engagement demands empowering all individuals within an organization. This is very much missing. Our communities and the city colleges of Chicago are intertwined. The well-being of one is the well-being of the other. It is within this context that AFSCME 3506 leadership has been insistent and persistent in the importance of community involvement and adult education faculty involvement in the future of our institutions and the future of Chicago. The misplaced attacks on our faculty and our leadership, the current brownie points by your administrators for attacking the AFSCME president, our leadership and our faculty simply demonstrate the lack of leadership alignment for progress and change. Believe me, this is really going on. The lack of communication channels across multiple stakeholders groups cannot be rectified by the last-minute listening tour by the provost. We need to act now. We need to act together. The city colleges unions are not the enemies of Juan Salgado, but his refusal to work with us and our communities might be. I want to thank you. May I also take my final moment suggesting that they increase the time for speaking. This is a public forum. We are all employees of the people of the city of Chicago. They have a right to know what's going on at city colleges. We need more time. And Chicago, when you watch this, stand up, ask what is hell is going on at city colleges. Thank you.
Fran Tobin.
Good afternoon, board members, Chancellor. Thanks for hearing from us today. My name is Fran Tobin. I'm coordinator of the Alliance for Community Services, which is made up of 9 organizations, made up of people with disabilities, poor and working class people, and frontline public employees. I'm here to urge you to work with community and labor to move towards sustainable city colleges that integrate community needs and promote the common good. My brother Carlos mentioned some of the problems that have been existing since before the pandemic: reduced classroom hours while more administrators were hired, closing of satellites like the Lakeview Learning Center, and some reductions at Humboldt Park in South Chicago, the drastic drop in enrollment from reinvention and other things. Well, we want to work with you to envision a better future. Now, breaking down silos is part of the mission of the Alliance. So many of our poor and disabled members that are fighting for independent living and Medicaid also need GED and other community college classes. Our folks are at higher risk of dying from COVID. Our folks lost our public mental health clinics. We lost our public aid offices. We lost adult ed classroom hours and are losing affordable housing. Human needs cut across agency silos. Instead of being another silo, city colleges can become community centers, connecting education with other needs and other public agencies and promoting the common good. Just a few examples: connecting the adult ed program with the state workforce development program. Currently, the Illinois Department of Human Services spends public dollars to contract with many and multiple private companies to provide various work readiness and training programs. for SNAP and Medicaid recipients. So we have a public program right here that already does very similar training and support, but there's no connection. DHS caseworkers don't even know what city colleges do. Governor Rauner closed the Illinois Public Human Service Office that served the area around Truman College. That community has been fighting for a replacement for a full-service DHS office for years to serve the same constituents that depend on city colleges. Perhaps Truman could partner with the state to provide space for a DHS office. Figure that out. In a public health crisis, which we're still very much in, hello Omicron, city colleges could be anchors of public health outreach, testing, and vaccination teams. So we heard the Chancellor mention several upcoming events. Those are good things. They're tiny things. They're sporadic things. They're things that pop up here and there rather than a coordinated, committed institutional response to a public health crisis. A public institution like city colleges should be oriented around the public good and integrating in a crisis how to respond in an integrated and comprehensive and committed ongoing way. So these are just a few examples. Obviously, each of them would take some thinking, planning, exploring to do. But without starting with a focus on the common good, the campuses are going to stay silos. Enrollment will probably continue to drop, and the people of Chicago will be less well served. So we stand ready to work with you and our other union and community allies to move in that new direction.
Susan Grace.
Hello. I'm a teacher, and thus I have a human PowerPoint with visual aids to clarify my points today. I'm an English faculty member from Wright College, and I'm here today to talk about Illinois House Bill 2170 that is about DevEd programs and placement procedures. Today, I would like to focus on the use of high school GPA as a single placement measure for English placement. Before we talk about this, we need a little background notes about all the studies done on GPA. All of the studies done on GPA have been based on standardized placement exams such as AccuPlacer and Compass, which are mere proxies of students' reading and writing ability. At city colleges, we haven't used these for over 10 years. We use what is called the Read to Write exam, which is not a proxy of students' reading and writing exams. And we use this to it's based on all national best practices, and so our RTW does not fall under the parameters of these studies. To guide us, I'm going to look at two studies that are often misrepresented or misunderstood. Study number one from Allen Worth and Clark, UFC 2020, looked at GPAs across all of CPS students. What did they find in these studies? Within a school, an A is better than a B, but across schools, it is not. Quote, there is considerable variation in GPA across Chicago high schools. For example, a GPA of 3.0 to 3.2 predicts college success in a range from 21 to 81%. That's a 60-point spread, right? This is clearly not sufficient information to place students. Study number two, done by IEL in 2021, looks at CPS students that graduated, enrolled at city colleges 4 terms. It's important to note that these students were placed into levels by the RTW, so according to their reading and writing needs. Now, I've got 4 little diagrams here. They kind of look like the boa constrictor that swallowed the elephant from The Little Prince, but what they really are GPA distributions. What do we see in these GPA distributions in the 4 data sets, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, is that the GPA range is the same. The mean is nearly the same, ranging from 2.49, 2.75, 2.64, 2.53. So IEL had a decision tree that suggested 2.7 as a single measure placement cutoff. What would happen if we use that? These students, 250 students in level 1 would now be here. In level 2, 1,000 students now placed here. Level 3, 750 students now placed here. What does this mean? Inappropriate placement of students. So what is the potential impact of high school GPA used as a single placement measure? Misplaced students, a policy that is inaccurate, inappropriate, and in violation of HLC criterion 3.D2. Institution has a process for directing entering students into courses for which they are adequately prepared. This is unethical as it harms students with the greatest needs, our first-gen, low-income, minority, immigrant ELL. This is not equity. Equity is when we provide necessary resources to succeed and not take them away. So on behalf of the English discipline and supported by District Faculty Council, we ask you to please honor our English expertise and experience, shared governments, and true open access mission by supporting our English discipline recommendations. I have a handout that Keith Spear is going to distribute that summarizes these for us. Thank you very much.
Tony Johnston.
Mr. Chair, Chancellor, board members, and officers of the district, good afternoon. My name is Tony Johnston. As president of the union which represents faculty, professionals, and security in the city colleges, I'm here today to speak specifically on the issue of the need for the city colleges to rethink its relationship with and strengthen its connections with its communities. A common thread throughout all of these suggestions is that the city colleges must refocus around the mission for equal access for quality education. And as Fran mentioned, the programs that the chancellor mentioned and that are going to be presented are all good things, and we applaud them. They are not enough. And so we are looking to have a more comprehensive vision of what the city colleges can be. The latest appearance of the Omicron variant, even with accessible vaccinations, gives us a picture of what we will be living with for some time, maybe years. As much as we would like things to be as they were, it is dangerous for us to presume that the level of face-to-face instruction will go back to what it was before March 2020. It will never be exactly the same way it was, and this is scary. But it also offers us a unique opportunity. We need to rethink not just what instruction and student service looks like, but what we actually do with our capital resources, such as classrooms, computer labs, conference rooms. While remote instruction and student services continues remotely, these spaces can be utilized by community-based organizations who can provide more needed wraparound services not only to our students, but to the community, much like what Fran was describing. Secondly, the city colleges must reconnect with its adult education programs and the population in Chicago, the most vulnerable of our student populations. The class offerings for these courses have declined. While these students may be wary about returning to classroom instruction, there are opportunities to create satellite classes in churches and community centers like there once was. At one time, one of the vital roles of the adult ed coordinators was to go into these communities and find these places to set up these programs, in effect, taking the education to our communities. But these coordinators have been reduced and these duties diverted. Third, along with adult education, we need to reconnect with our developmental ed students, those students who need to take courses to prepare for college-level work. Susan Grace has spoken eloquently on the need to have appropriate placement criteria so that students are properly placed and not thrown into college-level courses before they're adequately prepared. But I also want to propose something else: free developmental education. For years, politicians and nonprofit organizations have criticized DevEd because they claim it is a barrier for students going to college-level work, that they can't get out of these courses and they spend a lot of their financial aid in classes that won't transfer. By making these classes free, you eliminate those problems. The City Colleges is already offering many free workforce development-related courses for free. Why not developmental education? Fourth, the City Colleges must reconnect with students, especially in with regards to broadband and computer access. Again, during the pandemic, during the shutdown, hotspots were given, computers were given, but it still isn't sufficient, and it needs to be more comprehensive, as well as expanded wellness center services. Finally, the City Colleges must reconnect with its workers. John Taylor has spoken eloquently about the need to recognize Veterans Day. The 3 recognition personal days are good, and we appreciate this gesture. But again, it is not enough. There needs to be more flexibility for employees given their lifestyle constraints of childcare and medical needs. While faculty and professionals are in
Thank you, Mr.
negotiations,
Johnson.
we will be presenting proposals that cover these things. They go beyond wages, benefits, and working conditions. We look forward to sharing them with your team, and we hope we will find an open attitude that you will consider them. Happy holidays, and we'll be seeing you all in the next year. Thank you.
Chair, that was the last public speaker.
I want to thank all of our speakers for the input to the board. As I've said on several other occasions, the board, we listen and take into account in our deliberations the things we hear. Hearing from the public and our employees is a valuable part of our board operations. So thank you very much. And now we will hear from Professor Spruill on behalf of the Faculty Council. Professor Spruill.
Good afternoon, Chairman Massey, board members, officers of the district, and everyone present and streaming. FC4 has not held its regular meetings this month as our prioritized issues have been in smaller committees and are ongoing. So today I'll provide an update on those few items and a couple of other items that we've been in conversations with our district partners on. First, I'd like to thank Chief Board Advisor Phillips for reaching out to me with an update on FC4's request for a remote option to attend the board meetings. As of last month, the issue was still being worked on. While we appreciate that the item is being worked on, it is beyond me that over the course of close to 5 months, our institution has been unable to create the technological infrastructure to allow individuals to participate remotely. Institutions across the country, particularly K-12 institutions, have offered remote options well before the pandemic began. We were also told that there were plans to host some of the meetings at the various colleges. That hasn't happened to date either. This isn't about convenience, it's about access. By next semester, we would like to see this issue resolved. This can be resolved if we desire for it to be resolved. Second, FC4 has had conversations with Provost Potter about meeting with the presidents to think about our executive leadership hiring committee structure and the processes for faculty participation. I offered to speak directly to the presidents and was told that that was not necessary. Dr. Potter sent me an email on October 1st, which he very accurately captured our concerns and how he planned on communicating them to the presidents. I'm not sure where they are in this conversation or if they've considered it, but we haven't gotten a reply yet. We would like to have this conversation soon, and we look forward to working together in a spirit of collaboration and shared governance to create a clear, consistent, and transparent process. Third, a group of faculty have been meeting almost weekly with Dr. Potter on COVID-related issues. I'd like to be transparent and fair by saying this committee has been able to accomplish a lot which has resulted in the increased accessibility of cleaning supplies to those teaching in person, increased COVID policy signage in the colleges, the revision of our COVID website to make it more user-friendly, and to clarify our mask-wearing policies, which will remain in place through the spring semester. The area which we have disagreed has been surrounding our definitions of close contacts and our contact tracing. We met with Chancellor Salgado and David Anthony last week, in which we expressed that we would like any person in a room to be considered a close contact. David Anthony walked us through the contact tracing process, which on paper sounds robust. However, our position is that we can always do more, and there is nothing preventing us from doing so. It has been made very clear to us that unless contact tracing deems an individual a close contact, we will not be blanketly considering everyone in a room a close contact. When we have discussed issues of less than ideal ventilation in some of our rooms, class sizes, student movement within a room, COVID being spread by aerosols, which can remain in the air for around 3 hours, students who don't consistently wear their mask properly, and teachers moving in rooms and carrying the aerosols with them. When we have discussed all of this, we have been met with, what we are doing has worked. However, many of the protocols that we had during the height of the pandemic have been loosened. The amount of students that we had then is less than we have now. The amount of students that we will have next semester is greater than what we have now. Not wildly so, but it will increase. I'm getting more and more emails about COVID positive individuals on campus. And as we will return after the holidays, in which many people intend to gather with family and friends and will spend much time indoors in close contact, we have a new variant spreading through the country. It's hard to understand why we don't plan for catastrophe and hope that our planning is in vain. While we've accepted where we currently are, we have specifically asked for the plan that we have in place in the event that we see spread. To date, we have not been provided with that. And the closest to one was the Chancellor suggesting that we have the option to use the emergency remote option that we were forced to use at the beginning of the pandemic. But that isn't a plan, that is a tool. We are asking for the thoughtful response to how we can maintain in-person classes in a safe way, despite changes in our society that may or may not be addressed by the CDC or CDPH. There are many options that we could employ. Test to stay, test everyone on campus regardless of vaccination status, testing to return. We could train people to test entire classes in which there was a positive individual to avoid interruption of class. Faculty have proposed so much, but we seem set on not doing more than what CDPH has given us. And whether we like it or not, we have to remember that we live in a profit over people society and that many policies are put in place to manage COVID spread, not to prevent it, in service of our interconnected connection between schools and our economy. We would like to go into the next semester and focus on what we can do that is more than mandated, but what is prudent. Finally, we've been working with Provost Potter on a committee to address House Bill 2170's mandate that we use GPA as a placement mechanism. I'm not here to discuss the use. Professor Grace has done a good job of describing the faculty position, specifically that of the English discipline. FC4 has voted and supports the recommendations that the English discipline has put forward. I will include them in my written report, and they are in the handout that you received from Professor Grace. What concerned us most is that the process of deciding how we use GPA at the beginning of this process didn't reflect what we believe to be shared governance. Faculty were directly told that we were present in the meetings to provide information and answer questions of our academic leadership, and that they would make a recommendation and that Provost Potter would make a final decision. While he has every right to do so, that process flies in the face of shared governance, particularly when I repeatedly asked for a process which encouraged consensus and explored the option of leadership making a decision only in the case in which we could not come to a consensus. That option seemed to be rejected. Again, to be fair, in our latter meetings, or at least the last meeting that we had the opportunity to respond to some items and have conversations between faculty and our leadership on what we might like to do in various situations. And that was a fruitful conversation, but we could not understand why that isn't where we started. We suggested that that was the place where we started, that we worked together to think on what we could do. I'm glad that we have reached it, but we often find that this is how things are decided, that somehow someone makes a decision and then we land in a spot of consensus, maybe later on, or a poor decision is made and we end up backtracking. So what we are really asking is that we start with processes that assume that we can work together. It felt very much like we came in and that our leadership already assumed that faculty would be against whatever recommendations could be made and that we might not be amenable to working together. And that was never the case. And Dr. Potter acknowledged that as well. So again, to always be fair with that. We came ready to work, and we just didn't feel like that was how we were met in those first initial meetings. We have more meetings, but they're few. We haven't received any word that we will wrap them up or extend into the next semester. So that only gave us, at least by the timeline that we were given, 5 hours to discuss this. And in our last meeting, one thing that a few of us remarked on, faculty, in our conversations with leadership, was that many leadership said they had ideas about things, but would defer to the expertise of the faculty. And this is so important because when we are in those meetings, we're not just experts in our content in terms of English or math or the other disciplines that were present as well. I know for a fact that there are multiple of us who are in there who have doctoral level work in working on sorters, or as what we would call placement tools. I am one of those individuals. We aren't there just speaking about our anecdotal ideas around this. We are researched in using placement tools. So we would appreciate that our views on this are not thought of as a disagreement or our dogged adherence to what we are currently doing or our current process. We have repeatedly put forth information that shows compromise, and not really compromise, but what we think is part of best practices. And we've outlined those inside of those documents that you have as well. So we look forward to continuing our conversations, particularly in the vein that we left our last meeting, which felt much more collaborative and in the spirit of consensus. And we hope that we can land in a space where we can come to consensus before we have to explore the option of a decision being made for us. If there are any questions from the board, I'll take them. If not, that concludes my report. Thank you.
And now we will hear from Trustee Williams, Board of Finance.
Thank you, Chair Massey. Earlier this afternoon,
Oh, we have a district update. Sorry about that.
Oh, back there.
We have, yes. So we'll now, are you going to introduce this, Justin?
President Sanders, please.
Thank you. To Board Chair Massey, Vice Chair Swanson, Secretary Davis, Provost, to the entire Board of Trustees, Chancellor Salgado, Provost Potter, and my fellow presidents, officers of the district, colleagues, and friends, thank you so much for this opportunity to share the proposed partnership between Gift of Hope Tissue and Donor Network and Malcolm X College. This partnership has been over 2 years in the making, and on today, the board will consider a resolution to authorize a partnership with this wonderful organization. Since 1986, Gift of Hope Organ and Tissue Donor Network has worked to bring hope to thousands of people waiting for life-saving organ and life-saving tissue transplants. Their mission is to save and enhance lives of as many people as possible through organ and tissue donation. Their vision is that every opportunity for organ and tissue donation is successful, and their values are passionate people, outstanding teams, and compassionate service. We had a slide presentation. Thank you. Next slide, please. Sure. Thank you. In early 2009, Gift of Hope came to City Colleges desiring to append to their mission by giving back to the community. They desired to include workforce and career programs within their new facility at 7936 South Cottage Grove and serve as a jobs and career opportunity anchor for the Chatham neighborhood. I must admit that initially, Malcolm X was very cautious in our consideration of this partnership. We had never operated in a facility that we did not own, and there were many questions and concerns that we needed to answer and or eliminate to ensure we could deliver on our vision and mission at the Gift of Hope site. To our amazement, Gift of Hope responded and resolved every question and every concern to the benefit of the district, our faculty, our staff, and our students, both here and in the future. This soon-to-be-named Community Partnership Center will be a hub that will address the shortage of healthcare educational opportunities on the south side of Chicago. In addition, we will partner with our sister campuses, Kennedy King College and Olive Harvey College, to address the needs of students that go beyond the focus areas we will have at this center. The Gift of Hope Community Partnership Center site, again located at 7936 Cottage Grove, has historical significance since it was the former site of Chicago's historic Independence Bank in Chatham, then the nation's largest Black-owned bank. The site also previously housed Urban Partnership Bank. This site allows Malcolm X the ability to address access to the college and its short and long-term programs in the Chatham neighborhood. It will allow students the ability to enroll and register for classes at the site and will serve as a resource center for all students of Malcolm X College and city colleges. The 48,000 square foot, 3-story building offers 2 large parking lots, an on-site security, an elevator, indoor and outdoor camera systems, as well as local access to social and community services within the neighborhood. The building will undergo a $10.9 million renovation with an expected renovation start date of this month. $1.5 million of the funding is earmarked for the 16,000 square foot of space dedicated to Malcolm X College healthcare training programs at the site. These funds will be utilized to pay for the IT infrastructure, all necessary furniture, fixtures, and equipment, as well as security, audiovisual, and City College Malcolm X College camera needs for the facility. Renovations are expected to be completed in the fall of 2022. Now I will ask that Roy Walker, Dean of Health Sciences, who's to my left, would come and discuss the dedicated spaces and the programming that we plan for this initiative. Roy?
Thank you, President. So you will see here on our concourse level, we're going to provide all the academic spaces necessary for us to facilitate the learning process in our health science programs. We will have 2 labs. Those labs will be flexible enough for us to be able to accommodate potential addition of programs in the future, as well as 3 classrooms, one of which will have a retractable wall to allow for a larger presence in order for us to do community engagement events. We will also, one of the classrooms will also serve as a mobile computer lab in which they are outfitted with data ports, allowing us to bring laptop carts in for testing purposes, as well as other future programming. And then lastly, we do also have the faculty spaces for all of our support staff, in which case they will be able to be there to meet with students, to have one-on-one counseling sessions. And the facility is also going to be equipped with fully furnished bathrooms, a nursing room, as well as a locker room that is outfitted with a shower. On the main ground floor level, this is the entree to get into the building. This will be very akin to what we consider to be the heart of Malcolm X College, or also known as a one-stop shop. This is where students will come in and will be able to get the full suite of services that we offer in our Student Support Services Center. They will be able to take care of advising, they will take care of financial aid, they will be able to procure and pay for their classes, in addition to being able to have some access to be able to provide those same services in a remote space. A little bit further down, and I don't know how this pointer works, a little further down to the left, we will also be having a physical therapy clinic, which is a kindergarten dental hygiene program, which I'll speak to in a moment, as well as our sports performance lab, which we also have in our current building as well. In the rotunda area that you see there, in conversation with Gift of Hope, that is a common area that is going to be conducive for everyone coming into the building, but we will also have an opportunity to have vendor for food services for students as well as any other patrons that are coming into the site. So in regards to our programming that we're going to have there, we went through a very great deal of process to determine which programs would be appropriate. In fact, we actually made some changes in decision as we saw some emerging programs in high demand as well as increased wages that was most appropriate to come into this space. Those programs are as follows: community health worker, emergency medical technician, our medical assisting program, our personal fitness training program, and of course, a plethora of general education courses that are associated with those programs for completion. We will also be offering continuing education classes as well as CPR, first aid offerings in that community, as well as many, many more. It should also be noted that many of these programs that you see here today are also entrees or prerequisite courses to enter into some of our degree programs. So this will be an opportunity for students to initiate their academic careers here at this location, and then can continue on to either the physical therapist assistant program, which is a very growing profession of our degree program, as well as our paramedic program, which I think we all know is in very high demand due to the current situation that we're currently in right now. Right. Okay, and so with regards to the physical therapy practice, the huge benefit here for us is not only have we already demonstrated excellence in our dental hygiene clinic in terms of providing quality care to the community, we know that we can do the exact same thing here with physical therapy. This community is right now blighted as far as these services being provided in that area. We also will serve as another clinical site for our students, which will not only provide them the clinical education needed, but also potentially as an employment center for those students as well. So we're really, really excited because our given track record that we have in providing hygiene services at our main campus, we are really very confident that we'll be able to provide the exact same services here to a great degree of excellence. All right, and now I'll let President Sanders come on and continue on.
Thank you. So certainly this partnership would not be possible without the work of our Chancellor Juan Salgado, General Counsel Carla Goins, thank you so much, Vice Chancellor Jennifer Mason, Executive Director Elizabeth Jamitter, Dean Roy Walker, the Malcolm X Health Sciences team, including our faculty and staff, and our entire leadership team from Malcolm X. We would, however, be remiss not to mention the unwavering support received from Mayor Lori Lightfoot, Congressman Danny K. Davis and Bobby Rush, Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, Secretary of State Jesse White, Illinois State Senators Maddie Hunter, Emil Jones, and L.G. Sims, Illinois State Representatives Marcus Evans, Camille Lilly, LaShawn Ford, and Emmanuel Welch. A special shout out to Alderwoman Michelle Harris for her untiring support of this partnership, Alderman David Moore and Roderick Sawyer, Chicago Cook County Workforce Partnership, the Greater Chatham Initiative, the Chicago Urban League, and many, many others. On Wednesday, September the 22nd, 2021, Chancellor Salgado and I, along with several members of our teams, participated in the Gift of Hope press conference that was led by Gift of Hope President Harry Wilkins to announce the renovation of the building and this proposed partnership. It was an exciting event that is representative of the marketing and PR that will be needed to ensure the success of this initiative. And as such, the year ahead includes a year-long holistic marketing campaign in concert with our marketing department under the leadership of VC David Diley, which will encompass print, radio, and media to spread the word about this partnership and the great programming that will be offered at the Community Partnership Center, meetings with community elected officials, organizations, residents, and Chicago Public Schools to cultivate knowledge around our educational pathways, opportunities, and our supports, recruitment and enrollment campaigns beginning in the summer of 2022, a ribbon cutting ceremony at the completion of the renovation project in the fall of 2022 to celebrate the grand opening of the center, and a fully operational satellite campus at the Gift of Hope Community Partnership Center in January of 2023, barring any unforeseen issues or circumstances. Now, before I bring to you the CEO and president of Gift of Hope, who is an outstanding individual in his own right, we want to take the time to thank Gift of Hope for their unbelievable work, commitment, dedication, and love to our faculty, staff, and students of Malcolm X College, again, both here today and those in the future. As I noted, this project took over 2 years to bring us to this day, and these individuals have been at the table the entire time. They include Chief Financial Officer Russ Rapopovich, Senior Chief Advisor Jack Lynch, Vice President of Government Affairs and External Relations Marion Shuck, I think I saw her here, Purchasing and Contract Coordinator Jennifer Mascarella, she's not here, DO3 Realty Principal Leon Walker and Alex Spurhawk, and Bailey Edwards Architectural Firm. And so now it gives me great pleasure to bring to you the man who welcomed Malcolm X to his facility with open arms. I speak of the Gift of Hope CEO and President, Dr. Harry Wilkins. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I really appreciate the opportunity to take time at your board meeting to address you. I am Dr. Harry Wilkins. I am the president and CEO of Gift of Hope. These gentlemen have done a wonderful job giving an overview of this partnership, and words cannot express how proud we are to be partners with you. Thank you so much for calling out my team, who's done the lion's share of this. I just have the privilege of being able to represent them. What I would like to do is bring a little bit of context to this project. As he mentioned, our mission is to save and enhance as many lives as possible through organ and tissue donation. And so the obvious question may be, so what does that have to do with the educational partnership such as this? Many of you may have heard of a book that was written a while ago about the Daly years. And the title was, "We Don't Want Nobody, Nobody Sent." I understand some of you may have recognized that, but think about that term. We don't want nobody, nobody sent. That is the title. And so as we try to address this crisis of the national wait list, which now sits at over 100,000 individuals waiting for a life-saving organ, and a great majority of those look like many of us in this room, we are trying very desperately to make sure that every organ donation opportunity is successful. In order to do that, we can't be somebody sent. We need a community presence. This is particularly touching to me because, as they mentioned, this is the former Independence Bank building that sits on 79th and Cottage. In 1956, my parents got married. They met in Lincoln Center, the projects. They had a dream of raising their children in a home. Their first child was born in the projects. They tried to get a home and they were told again and again they could not. Their second child was born in the projects. They tried again and again and could not. In 1961, they were able to buy a home in the Greater Grand Crossing area, 2.5 blocks from this building. And they were able to welcome their third child in their own home. To me, this is an expression of hope, and it's a little surreal that the name of our organization is the Gift of Hope. And it's not lost on me what hope will do. I was that third child. I was their first child that was born in that home. It's often been told to me, it doesn't matter where you come from, it matters what you're made of. But I can tell you, where you come from has a huge influence on where you can go. And so we, through this partnership, have the opportunity to really help people from this area, from my community, have a chance, have that gift of hope that they can be better. And at the same time, by being a presence in the community, someone who then we come to try and educate them about the importance of organ donation will know who we are. People want to know how much you care before they care how much you know, and that is really the basis of this partnership. I don't need to tell this audience the importance of education. Many of our community are very distrustful of the medical community. They're distrustful of organ donation, and education is the way to heal that. My mother raised 6 successful sons, and her core principle was education. She was an educator in the Chicago school system. She and my father both, and many of my brothers, are products of Chicago city colleges. My mother from Olive Harvey, my father from Kennedy King. I took classes at Olive Harvey. My next to oldest brother took classes at Olive Harvey and Kennedy King. This is a partnership that goes far beyond what they just outlined in terms of programs and services. This is truly a heartfelt partnership. Marion Shook mentioned it very well. Malcolm X has become part of our family. This is a true partnership, and it is just the beginning. So I want to thank you all so much. I want to thank my team for all the work, these gentlemen for all the work, Juan, for all your work. I get a little bit of tingles when I talk about this, so I'm going to stop now because I've used up my allotted amount of time. But thank you all very much, and this is just the beginning.
Do you have any questions? Thank you so very much.
I have a gavel, I should say, here, here. A wonderful presentation, wonderful project. I think we all, congratulations on all the hard work all of you have put into this and addressing this really dire need. And we look forward to this grand opening. So now, I got to order now, Trustee Williams. I hope you're still prepared. I will turn it over to you for your report.
Okay, thank you, Chair Massey. Earlier this afternoon, the Finance and Administrative Services Committee met. The primary presentations and topic of discussion was the fiscal year 2021 financial audit. I would note that today's presentation by the outside audit firm RSM focused on the audit process, required communications, and internal control matters. For the financial audit, there were no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies over financial reporting in fiscal year 2021. For the single audit, there were 6 reportable findings in fiscal year 2021, 2 of those compliance findings, and then material weaknesses related to HERF and GEAR, and 4 compliance findings related to student financial aid. CFO Rodriguez gave an overview of the fiscal year 2022 first quarter financial update, which included an update on the HERF funds. The committee also reviewed and discussed the resolutions, personnel report, resource development report, agreements, purchases, and legal invoices contained in the December regular board meeting packet that is being brought before the board today. Overall, it was an informative update and discussion, and I want to thank CFO Rodriguez and the finance team for their ongoing work. I would add that that the audit was a clean audit and with no with no significant or material challenges to that audit. So clean audit is what we want. We have them every year. This year is no different. And with that, Chair Massey, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Williams. We will now proceed to consider the items on the December 9th, 2021 consent agenda. This month, all items for board action are on the consent agenda, which is printed on the paper you hopefully picked up outside of the room. And I would note again for the record that these items were discussed in detail in the committee meeting immediately preceding this board meeting, as was noted by Trustee Williams during his committee report. Does any trustee have questions or comments any of the items listed on the consent agenda or wish for separate action on any of these items? No, not hearing any. May I have a motion to approve the resolution, the personnel report, the resource development report, and the various agreements, purchases, and legal invoices contained in the consent agenda and identified as part of the printed agenda on a single roll call vote? Have a motion.
So moved.
Second, will the chief advisor call the roll?
Chair Massey,
Yes.
Trustee Williams,
Yes.
Trustee Swanson,
Yes.
Trustee Fago-Hole,
Yes.
Trustee Davis,
Yes.
Trustee Kent? Yes. Trustee Tillman?
Yes.
Trustee Lopez?
Yes.
That's it. Thank you all. Let the record show that the resolutions, personnel report, resource development report, the agreements, purchases, and legal invoices included on the printed December 9th, 2021 consent agenda have all been approved. So this concludes our substantive work this afternoon. However, and in accordance with the Illinois Open Meetings Act, the board may hold a closed session for discussion of matters related to a number of specified topics. Today's closed session will be for the discussion of matters related to 2C1, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body. May I have a motion to go into closed session with the roll call vote? I need a motion. Who moved it? Trustee. Oh, Trustee Calvin.
Second.
Trustee Davis. Let the record show that now we'll have a roll call.
Chair Massey,
Approved.
Trustee Williams,
Approved.
Trustee Fago-Hole,
Approved.
Trustee Davis, Trustee Kent, Trustee Tillman, Trustee Lopez.
Let the record, got it? Let the record show that the motion has been approved. For those of you viewing the live feed, it will remain active, although you will see a notice that the board is in closed session. We will return to formally adjourn today's proceedings. For those of you who decide to depart before we return today, I thank you for joining us, and I would like to remind everyone that per our standard practice, our next regular board meeting will be on February 3rd, 2022. You can look to our website, www.ccc.edu, for information on our next meeting. Thank you very much. We will now go into closed session. One. Hello, I think I have my team here. The December 9th, 2021 regular board meeting is now reconvened. There was no action taken during the closed session that required action in this open session. There being no further business to come before the board, may I have a motion to adjourn? That's second. All in favor? Aye. Good, thank you. Enjoy the holidays. Right. Hmm? I'm going